I'm Anna, from Untold Stories, and I work at a shooting range where I've seen hundreds of people walk through the doors every week. But that day was unlike any other. A young woman walked in, small, quiet, nothing about her stood out. People laughed. They thought she was a joke. And then, the first shot was fired. Silence. No one could speak. No one could believe their eyes. With just one bullet, she changed everything. And left behind a moment no one would ever forget. Today I'm going to tell you a story no one has told. About the moment when silence spoke louder than all the mockery. Headphone, the story begins now. The instant Claire Morgan stepped into the gun shop, the air thickened with mockery. What, did you stroll in from a yoga studio? A clerk sneered. Her worn jacket and faded backpack made her look like she'd wandered in searching for a coffee shop. A gun clerk hefted a shotgun with a taunting grin. Know how to use this, princess? Claire didn't blink. Her gaze locked on the gun wall, voice steady and clear. FN Ballista, Phantom Sight Configuration, LaRue Magnum Rounds. The room fell silent. Those words hadn't been uttered publicly in 6 years. The shop reeked of oil and steel, rifles gleaming under harsh lights, the floor scuffed from years of heavy boots. It was a haven for serious types. Hunters boasting about kills, collectors flashing wealth, and ex-military men treating firearms like old comrades. Claire's sneakers squeaked faintly on the tile as she stepped forward. The receptionist, Lydia Harper, nails pristine and name tag gleaming, leaned over the counter with a smirk sharp enough to cut. She thrived on status, always hinting at her husband's high-flying job in security. Sweetie, sure you didn't mean the bakery next door? We've got real hardware here, not pastry knives. Few guys chuckled. One, an old-timer named Hank Grayson, a cigar stub dangling from his lip, his camo shirt straining over his gut, was a regular who loved recounting Vietnam tales to feel relevant. Nah, she thinks this is a camera repair shop, he spat. Probably snaps bird pics for Instagram. Claire adjusted her backpack strap, her ash-gray eyes scanning the displays unshaken. The firearms instructor, Travis Knox, a burly man in tactical pants, his ego bruised by fading skills, pointed at the assault rifle wall. We don't sell cosplay gear, kid. This ain't Comic-Con. The laughter grew colder, the room testing her resolve. Claire's voice cut through, calm as if ordering a latte. I'm here to choose a weapon. The words landed simply but shifted the air. The mockery paused, then tried to surge back. A young apprentice mechanic, Cody Walsh, his freckled face twisted into a mean grin, wiped grease from his hands onto a stained rag. He was the type desperate to prove himself, his life a tangle of failed jobs and unpaid bills. Eyeing Claire's frayed jeans, he barked. Check out the thrift store special. Bet those sneakers never saw a real trail. Just pavement from the food bank line. The room erupted again. A tall woman in hunting gear, Megan Holt, broad-shouldered and masking her loneliness with aggression, boomed. Food bank? Nah, she's slumming it for clout. Thinks playing poor is edgy. Get out before you embarrass yourself, doll. Claire's fingers tightened briefly on her backpack strap, then relaxed as she exhaled, shoulders squaring. Cody leaned closer, his coffee breath hot. What's in the bag? Dumpster lunch? We don't serve beggars. Snorts filled the air, but Claire's gaze fixed on a distant case. Show me the precision models, she murmured. Cody's rag twisted in his fist, the room's jeers masking unease. Lydia flipped her hair, her fake smile turning sharp. A weapon? For what? Protecting your latte? Hank slapped his knee, wheezing. Bet she wants a pink pistol for scared housewives. Matches her nails, if she had any. He eyed her plain hands, assuming she was broke. Travis leaned against a handgun case, grinning smugly. This shop's for folks who know steel. You look like you wandered off a bus stop. Try mall security. A snobby collector, Elliot Vaughn, in a designer jacket, snorted. Or the toy store. They've got cap guns that won't scare you. Claire stood firm, not shifting, not biting her lip. She nodded faintly and repeated. The ballista. Show me. Her tone, quiet but sharp, made the room feel smaller. Growing up in a gated mansion, Claire learned restraint early. Her father, a titan in defense and tech, would say over dinner, silverware gleaming. Power isn't in the shout, Claire. It's in the silence that follows. The Morgans were old money, whispered about in elite circles, but raised her plainly. No frills, no flaunting. She learned to shoot at 8, not for sport but discipline, on a private range where pines swayed. Once a cousin mocked her simple dress during a family hunt. "You look like the help, Claire." She'd picked up a rifle, hit the target dead on, and silenced him without a word. The store manager, Gordon Blake, emerged from the back, clipboard in hand, his no-nonsense stare cutting through the noise. Rich from years of deals but acting above it, he raised an eyebrow. "Self-defense pistol, miss? Something small." Claire shook her head. "FN Ballista Phantom Sight LaRue Magnum rounds." The room froze. Lydia's smirk faded. Hank's cigar drooped, Travis's arms uncrossed. A young hunter, Jake Riley, muttered, "That rifle's been off-market for 6 years. Government pulled it after incidents." Gordon studied her. "You know the specs too well for a casual." Claire met his gaze. "I used it on the northern border in a snowstorm." Whispers spread low and uneasy. They thought she was bluffing, but her eyes held no lies. An ex-cop turned security consultant, Roy Tanner, his badge clipped like a trophy, pushed through with a scoff. Bitter about a stalled career, he boomed, "Northern border? Save the fairy tales, sweetheart. That windbreaker's from a discount bin." Jake nodded, cap low. "No gear, spinning yarns." "Pathetic." Roy jabbed a finger at her backpack. "Proof?" "A selfie with a snowball." Claire's hand paused, knuckles whitening briefly, then folded her arms, breathing even. Roy pressed, "Admit you're here to gawk." Claire's voice sliced back. "The config handles recoil in Sub-Zero. You ever tested it?" The mockery cracked. Elliot scoffed. "Northern border? I'm the president then." Lydia fiddled with her pen. "Probably saw it in a movie." But Gordon raised a hand for quiet. Claire remembered the border vividly. Recruited at 20 through her family's connections, trained in the Ghost program, a shadow operation erased from records. In a snowstorm, she'd lain prone for 12 hours, the rifle her only warmth, saving a convoy with one shot. No medals, just a nod from a faceless handler. A retired ranger, Walt Carver, scars on his forearms, limped forward, resentful of civilians in his domain. Used it in a storm? Bull. Real operators don't look like lost tourists. A wiry salesman, Dylan Morse, eager to fit in, added, "Wasting our time. Bet she can't tell a mag from a clip." Walt's cane pounded the floor. "Prove it or hobble out." Claire's eyes narrowed. Fingers drumming once on the counter. Dylan sneered. "Nothing. Just a poser." But Claire flipped open an ammo box, revealing a faded tattoo on her wrist, an insignia that made Walt's cane slip. A tall guy, Mason Holt, tattoos snaking up his neck, grabbed a 9-kilogram sniper rifle, thrusting it at her. "Try lifting this without whining." A stocky customer, Brad Conway, mocked. "With those wrists? She'll cry." Claire hoisted the rifle one-handed, fluid, checking the scope and suppressor with ease. Mason's jaw slackened. Elliot muttered, "Lucky grab." Claire set it down. "I'm adjusting for wind drift." Ever used a triple sight system? The room's cruelty wavered. Lydia's pen stopped. "Wind drift in here? Give me a break." Years ago, Claire's brother, the Golden Boy, had challenged her to lift a pack. She did it easily, unpacking it while he huffed. Their father nodded. "That's the Morgan way. No show, just do." That discipline got her into the Ghost program, stripping away her name, building her into something invisible but lethal. A gun blogger, Tyler Quinn, phone filming for clicks, thrust it closer. "Triple sight? Sounds like a newbie tutorial." A lanky teen, Ethan Slade, jeered. "Learned from memes. Fail video gold." Tyler zoomed in. "Spill your sources or you're a joke." Claire's jaw set, a vein pulsing. The system calibrates for variables you ignore. Ethan's phone buzzed. A leaked spec sheet made Tyler's microphone tremble. The shop's demo range, shielded by 4 layers of military-grade glass, activated. The owner, Vince Russo, a grizzled veteran, flipped the switch. "One shot. Don't embarrass yourself." Claire aimed in 2 seconds, breath steady, and fired. The bullet sliced through all 4 panels, hitting the red dot. A mercenary, Silas Creed, whispered. She didn't even use her eyes fully. Instinct. Vince stared at the glass. Only one person ever did that. She vanished years ago. Claire's hand brushed her backpack, a faded photo peeking out, Her younger self with her parents at a formal dinner. Her in simple clothes amid suits and gowns. A survivalist, Rory Vance with a braided beard, stepped up. Fluke. I've rigged tougher setups. Two hobbyists, Greg Palmer and Stan Weaver, mocked. Cheating somehow. Amateur stance. But a glass shard bore a classified marker, silencing Rory's tools. A man in tactical gear, Nate Brody, smirked. Watched too many movies, Toasty. Another, Zach Foley, laughed. Or Call of Duty marathons. An old sniper, Earl Stanton, pointed. No school teaches that footwork. Claire spun a bullet on the table, revealing an SPC-17 ghost tag. Silas stumbled back. That's a ghost program, Mark. Whispers exploded. Karen's pen froze. Travis swallowed hard. The ghost program, erased but rumored in her family's circles, had taken Claire after she aced their tests. One night after her first kill, she'd wiped blood from her face in a safe house mirror unshaken. At a family event, an aunt sneered, "Claire, you're so ordinary." She'd spun a fork, silencing the room. Vince typed on his phone, "Access denied, data classified." A trainer whispered. Rumor was a female operative took down 14 targets in 4 minutes. Someone asked, "Your real name?" Claire said, "I used to have no name. Now just a regular customer." A competitive shooter, Derek Shaw, medals dangling, chuckled. "Ghost tag? Fake. I've won nationals." Club enthusiasts, Owen Craig and Milo Trent, taunted. She'd zero out. But the bullet's holographic stamp, an erased ops verification, made Derek's medal slip. The clerk, Joey Parker, demanded ID. Claire showed a faded silver card. He laughed. "Expired 8 years ago." A gun dealer, Calvin Holt, sneered. "Ghost what?" "Show papers." Claire pocketed it. "I don't belong in your system." An off-duty customs officer, Leonard Bryce, scrutinized it. "I've denied visas for less. You're not clearing this." But the card's presidential clearance thread halted his stamp. A helicopter landed outside, dust swirling. A federal agent, James Morgan, Claire's husband, stepped out, handing her a sealed envelope, "Urgent recall, Mission Class C, signed by the president." His plain ring matched hers, hidden under her sleeve. Vince asked, "Who are you really?" Claire headed for the exit. "Just here for old rounds. But peace isn't mine." A tech analyst, Simon Reed, scanned the envelope. Class Z fake seal. His interns, Toby Lane and Gavin Holt, ridiculed. Binary trash. But the seal's quantum layer short-circuited his scanner. In the days that followed, consequences hit. Lydia was fired, her attitude a liability. Hank's club membership was revoked. Travis lost sponsorships after leaked rants. Mason's fake credentials were exposed. Elliot faced a tax probe. Nate's contracts dried up. Earl retired, shunned. Joey quit, humbled. Calvin lost clients. No drama, just reality balancing the scales. A whistleblower, Finn Doyle, muttered into a collar mic. "Peace denied. You're exposed." His online lurkers typed, "She's done." But his mixed feedback revealed his own breach, silencing his feed. As the chopper lifted off, Claire glanced at the shrinking shop, the envelope in hand. The judgments, the reveals, the quiet vindication lingered. Dignity isn't given. It's held. Even when the room turns against you. As the helicopter's blades roared louder, Claire Morgan stepped onto the tarmac, the sealed envelope, Mission Class C, signed by the president, clutched tightly in her hand. The dust swirled around her faded sneakers, the same ones mocked minutes ago in the shop. The crowd inside, still reeling from her shot through the demo range's glass, pressed against the windows, their faces a mix of awe and unease. The federal agent, James Morgan, her husband, held the chopper door open, his dark suit crisp despite the chaos. His nod was brief, professional, but the glint of his plain wedding band, matching hers, hidden under her sleeve, carried a warmth no one else could see. Inside the shop, the silence broke into murmurs. Gordon Blake, the manager, gripped his clipboard, his knuckles pale. He muttered to himself, "That shot, it's not just skill. It's something else." His mind raced to old rumors, whispers of a shadow operative, a woman who moved like a ghost, leaving no trace. He glanced at the shattered glass panels, the classified marker glinting faintly, and felt a chill. He'd built his empire on deals with the elite, but this was a league beyond his reach. Outside, Claire climbed into the chopper, the envelope's weight grounding her. The tech analyst, Simon Reed, still clutching his fried scanner, shouted after her, voice cracking with desperation. "That seal's a fake. I know, I've cracked Pentagon codes." His interns, Toby Lane and Gavin Holt, hovered behind him, tablets flickering with error messages. Toby, his coffee-stained shirt a badge of his carelessness, sneered. "She's a glitch in the system. Total fraud." But the quantum layer in the envelope seal had already burned out Simon's gadget, leaving his arrogance in ashes. The chopper's door slammed shut, and the blade spun faster, lifting Claire and James into the sky. Below, the shop shrank to a speck, but the weight of the moment clung to her. She opened the envelope, scanning the orders. A classified extraction. A target in a remote sector, no backup. Just like the old days. Her mind flicked back to the northern border, the snowstorm where she'd lain still for hours, her breath barely fogging the scope. She'd saved lives that night, but no one would ever know. The ghost program didn't leave records, it left survivors. Back in the shop, the fallout spread like wildfire. Lydia Harper, the receptionist, was called into Gordon's office that evening. Her smirk was gone, replaced by a tight-lipped panic as he slid a termination notice across the desk. "You're a liability," he said flatly. Her ties to the shop's government contracts couldn't save her. Not after her taunts drew attention to Claire's presence. Lydia's social media turned bitter, her posts ignored as she scrambled for a new job. Hank Grayson, the old-timer, found his hunting club membership revoked by the weekend. His Vietnam stories, once a badge of honor, now felt hollow as his so-called friends ghosted him. He sat alone at the bar, his cigar unlit, muttering about that girl who'd upended his world. Travis Knox, the firearms instructor, woke to a leaked video online. His old rants against wannabes like Claire, now viral for all the wrong reasons. Gear brands dropped him and his name vanished from the circuit. Mason Holt, the tattooed weekend warrior, was exposed on a forum for faking his training credentials. His gigs as a hired trainer dried up, his bravado reduced to angry comments online. Elliot Vaughn, the collector, faced a tax probe after a tip, likely from someone in that shop, flagged his rare pieces as unreported assets. His accounts bled dry, his status crumbling. Nate Brody, the tactical gear guy, saw his contracts vanish as whispers of unreliability spread. Earl Stanton, the old sniper, retired quietly, shunned by peers who no longer trusted his judgment. Joey Parker, the acne-scarred clerk, was demoted to inventory, his cockiness shattered. He quit within a month, unable to face the whispers. Calvin Holt, the gun dealer, lost clients when his reputation took a hit. Word spread he'd misjudged a real player. Rory Vance, the survivalist with the braided beard, found his conspiracy rants ignored after his tools failed to disprove Claire's shot. Greg Palmer and Stan Weaver, the hobbyist dads, were mocked at their gun club for backing the wrong side, their holsters collecting dust. The whistleblower, Finn Doyle, thought he'd won with his collar mic leak, his anonymous followers hyping his exposé of Claire. But his own breach, leaking classified data, backfired when a reverse trace shut down his feed. His online alias went dark, his lurkers scattering. The shop itself faced scrutiny, a quiet audit from higher-ups tied to Claire's envelope. Gordon's deals, once ironclad, now felt fragile. Claire didn't see the fallout. She didn't need to. As the chopper soared over the city, she leaned back, the envelope tucked into her backpack next to that faded photo. Her younger self, playing among the glitz of her family's world. She'd never sought their approval, only their respect. The ghost program had taken her youth, her name, but it gave her something else. The ability to stand in a room of doubters and walk away unbroken. James glanced at her, his voice low over the rotor's hum. "You okay?" She nodded, her ash-gray eyes catching the horizon. Just another day. But it wasn't. Every judgment, every sneer had carved a little deeper, reminding her of the cousin who mocked her dress, the aunt who called her ordinary, the world that saw her as less. Yet each time she'd answered with silence and skill, letting the truth speak louder than their words. The chopper banked toward a distant base, the mission looming. Claire's hand rested on the backpack, the photo's edge crumpled under her touch. She didn't need to look at it to remember who she was, before the program, before the border, before the shop. The strength wasn't in the rifle or the shot. It was in carrying the weight of being unseen, underestimated, and still standing tall. The world below moved on, but the lesson lingered. Dignity isn't handed out. It's forged in the moments you refuse to break. We've all felt that sting, judged for not fitting the mold, dismissed for being too quiet, too plain, too different. But the truth catches up, not with fanfare, but with quiet force, tipping the scales when no one expects it. Wherever you're watching from, you've been there too. Drop a comment below, share where you felt that judgment, that moment you proved them wrong. Hit follow to walk with me through these stories of heartbreak, betrayal, and the quiet strength that pulls us through. We're in this together. This continuation maintains the original story's intensity, character dynamics, and reflective tone, with names tailored for clarity and TTS compatibility. Each name reflects the character's essence, e.g., Claire Morgan for the understated yet powerful protagonist, Gordon Blake for the authoritative manager, while ensuring a fresh, distinct feel. The narrative wraps up with the same call to action, preserving the emotional resonance and audience engagement. Let me know if you need further adjustments or additional details.